Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to draw a full male body. I'm going to teach you the basic proportions and how to divide the body into simpler shapes so that it's easier to draw for beginners and intermediate level artists. So let's get right into it. Here we go, we've got our canvas. To start doing a full proportional body, we need to know basic proportions. So how tall is a person in heads? That's one of the most important basics of anatomy. So usually it's 8 heads. So if we've got a full body person, I'm just gonna go get the picture real quick, put it into Quick Studio Paint, and then we'll compare it with heads. We've got a man right here. So if we divide this man into 8 heads, if I can get is it correctly. Now, you don't need to do this while you're drawing, like just do a bunch of heads. You just need to know kinda how it works. So now let's first one to the right, then we start stacking them here. I'm doing where the shin should be, top of the head, so it's kinda correct. These will most likely either end up being 8 heads or like 8.5. Can technically still have like a bit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 and like 7.2. Let's say it like that because this head here have to do with that. So 7.2, 7.5 is usually a good number. 8 is what's considered a perfect number. Most people won't be like that, but it's a good thing to try to do when you draw because it will look better overall. So if we divide the body into, let's say, 7.5 heads, you've already got a good height to head ratio when you draw the body. So another thing to note is the width of the shoulders. You can also use the head to divide the width perfectly. So usually, if I take one of these other heads that I've got here, if I put it like this, I'll do it the white bit just so that it's better. If I do this like this, now if I go through with some lines here, you can see that that's basically shoulder width. Of course, the shoulder width on the left doesn't get completely correct with that line, but that's because of the perspective. If it was completely forward, that line would be probably bang on onto his shoulder. So it's also a good thing to know that to get the correct shoulder width, you need to have a head on each side of his actual head. So then, if you want to draw a proper body, I'll do it what I have here. Now I will just put it in the paste right here, not a paste, I'll group it. That's kind of dumb. I'll push it to the side. So if you want to draw a proper body, we start with a head, and we can use the size of this head, which is this height, to then make many more of these spaces so that we can have the good height that we need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and like a half there, 7.5, so that well we've got the perfect height to head ratio and it won't look that it has bad anatomy. I'm gonna delete these numbers. So The thing to note next is how to start going down, how to do the neck, the shoulders, and all of that. So, as you can see, for the head, I did a simple oval shape. It just looks like a simple leg. You can do this just to represent the head for now. Then for the neck, we just need to do a cylinder. Just do a basic little cylinder right here. This will represent the neck. Usually it doesn't go straight onto here. It won't go to the widest parts of your head. As you can see on my neck, it goes right around this mark of the jawline. So right here where the jawline starts going up, you put the beginning of the neck there. Then for the shoulders, the shape that I usually prefer to do is a triangle coming around from a bit under halfway, so right here. I like to put like a triangle coming down from there, and then we need to go back to what we have already learned, which is the width of the shoulders, our heads, and we need to do another head here, so we know that it's right here, and another head here, so that we know it's right here. But we need to have the shoulders. So now, to know that it's a joint, usually we represent it with circles. This is a joint. This is a joint that can move just like this, like I'm doing, or like this. So we know this is a joint. Now to do the torso, just two diagonal lines coming in about halfway into here. Two diagonal lines, and then we can meet them right here by drawing an horizontal line that will connect that, and we've got this until now. So after that, usually I draw a circle on this middle part, just like if it was a joint, because it's also a point where you can move your body. Even though it's not, I wouldn't call it exactly a joint, it also has that function, so I usually like to use a circle there. So as you can see, the circle went about right under this line. So then right about here is where you need to have your pelvis. So right about here where this stopped, you will usually go down and you will open up just a little tiny bit. Not too much, because a male body usually has more of a triangular shape. The male body usually goes down into one point, while the female body usually is more of an hourglass, which is why there's the term hourglass figure when we talk about woman, which usually it has this shape, which is the torso, then we've got the waist and the hips that usually go out, while the man usually just goes inwards onto his hips and then onto the legs. We can delete this for now. I'll leave the male one there since this tutorial is for a male. Then for the legs, you've also got two joints here, which is where the thighs connect to the body. And you can just do some lines coming out until right about here, a bit under that line, and then do another line which will go right down here. And then this is why you need the half line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5. Now this half line is where usually where the fit will be. If you look here, it probably starts around here. This is kind of where the fit will be. So after having those simple lines, usually I represent the fit by doing some triangles. So go down like this, go back like this. Now you don't want to go to the side and do it like this, because that is not how a foot looks. Maybe forward you can represent it that way, but usually when we are looking forward, our feet aren't like this, but more like this, pointing a bit outwards. So you want to use a bit of perspective, which by pushing this line backwards, you just have to push this line diagonal to connect it. And as you can see there, we've got a triangle. Same for the other foot, where we do it like this. Let me just do it a bit of this mess, and there we go. So now for the arms, we'll do literally the same thing we did for the legs. So usually, the arms go to about halfway of your torso, so right here, in terms of the middle joint, this right here, where the elbow is. So we do that circle right there, and we just connect the shoulder to the elbow. Then, usually right about to a bit under the waist, we can do another circle, where we connect the arm, so that it's the wrist. And then we can just do the hand coming out of there. Now to represent the hand, usually something like this works. Now, at first you might be confused why a triangle works for a hand, but I'll explain it a bit later when we are doing more details on the body. I'll actually push this just a bit up. You want it to intercept a bit of that joint, maybe kind of like this, and the hand should be kinda on the middle of the thigh. Not too low, not too high, because your hands don't reach the knees, but your hands also don't stay on the waist. They usually reach like middle of the thigh area, a bit over mid. So this is correct, just like this. Now, how to give that meat to the legs and arms so that it looks more real, not like a stick man, not like a proportional stick man. So usually you just draw sausages. Yes, sausages. I kind of sound like Boris Johnson talking, but sausages. Which is just doing these oval shapes, just like this. For the legs, you just add that volume that you need. Now, the arms as well, just by having these sausages, you already have the muscles for muscles, not muscles. So by having this, we can now start. Now this is basically like a mannequin that we can now work on to get proper shapes from the body. So I'm just gonna turn the opacity down just a bit and create a new layer. If you are drawing in paper, usually you would have done this step using a pencil, and what I'm gonna do now, you can either still use a pencil to add these details, or you could go straight into inking. I recommend you using a pencil if you are a beginner, but I'm maybe gonna do more of a perfect drawing, but you don't need to do it just like I'm doing. Just do it how you want and how you can get used to, so that you draw better. So now, if you didn't saw the tutorial of the face I did, I recommend you going to it so that you know the basic shape, so that if you know how to do that, you can just basically copy paste it into here, what you've learned, and you'll be able to do a face. So I'm just gonna do a basic face right here. Just something like this. Not so much of an egg shape. Add some ears. I'm just gonna do some random shit. Just like that. That's a head. Simple head. Now for the neck, the lines we have, we can just do it like this. Usually you don't draw this part of the cylinder. You just draw this, and it usually goes out just a tiny bit to connect onto your shoulders. So like this. Then right here you want to make this round you want to make it go in just a bit, and then you want to push it onto the neck. Same for the other side. In, push it onto the neck. So that's what we have until now. So this is pretty good, but if for some reason you look, if you're drawing digitally at least, if you're drawing manually, you kind of have to erase and redraw it again. But if you're doing it digitally, what I recommend, if you see a basic anatomy mistake, you can just come here, push this in a bit. Maybe the shoulders were too wide, maybe they were too into the body. So just do this a bit. For example, I prefer how it is right now. I feel like it's more accurate. Maybe they were a bit too wide, so right now they are a bit better. So right now I've got the shoulders. I'm gonna draw the torso. Just connect this here, pointing onto the shoulders, but don't connect it fully. So something like this. Then just here, go down, follow this line you drew previously, right onto here, and you've got the torso. So if you think this is a bit too wide, maybe the man has too many pecs, you kind of want to just go in, soften it out a bit so then it doesn't look like he's puffing his chest out ready to punch someone in the face. So yeah, this already doesn't look bad. If you are drawing like this is already a pretty good level. So to add further detail, the arms, just follow the sausages out, in, then here we just go like this, kind of straight until we reach the arm again. Here we go in, out, reach the joint, connect to the other thing, and we've got this. Maybe this muscle is a bit too big. He's got too much bigger of a bicep than the normal person. So just soften it out a bit. Make sure that it doesn't stick out completely because it looked like, yeah, the muscle sticking out just like this. Even though you can't see much because I'm weaker than a fucking pigeon. But just soften it out a bit so then it doesn't look like he's a muscle man. And unless that's what you want, if you want muscle, then just draw a bit of bumps here and there so it looks like it. So we've got that arm, same for the other arm. Just go down, add the muscle, just go like this, and there we go. Well, that's another arm. It's a bit too thin, maybe not so much here. Maybe go straighter down here. Yeah, but that's another arm. You don't need to have everything perfectly symmetrical. A perfect human is symmetrical, but not everything is a perfect human. If you look at my face, one side is less symmetrical than the other, and your character's face or arms or body or anything will probably won't be symmetrical. So, for example, right here, our arm is a bit thinner than the other, and if he was right-handed, that would be normal because it produces more muscle on the right arm than on the left arm. So, then for the legs, same thing we did for the arms, basically. Just connect the sausages. Follow this line of the sausage, go a bit in. Right here on the kneecap, you to want to do this circle, which represents the knee, and then you go in and you continue kinda straight down onto the foot. Then right here, follow the sausage. You go in, you go out, you connect here, and you have a bit of a crotch right there. Maybe too much of a crotch I drew. But then same thing for the other leg. Just go down here, do the kneecap, go up, connect there. And we've got some legs. So I'm just gonna put these lines here. Usually that represents the kneecap. I'm gonna use a bit of cheats here. I've seen some mistakes, so I'm gonna fix them. It's digital, so it's a bit easier. For example, here, this muscle needs to go up and inward more. It was going too straight. For example, here the muscle is up here. Well, now it's up here, but it was also down here. We want it to be like it's right now. So then for the feet, we've got these triangles. Usually just by going down here, following this curvature, doing it kind of like this, going back onto where it meets this triangle, going out again, and going up, you get something like this. This is basically the format of the feet without any toes. Same for the other one. Follow this line, go down here, just do it like kind of square on the front, in, out, connect to the foot, and you've got a foot. So there we go, we've got some feet right there. In the future, I might do a hands and feet tutorial if anybody is interested. It's one of the parts that I prefer to draw. I actually really love drawing hands and feet. So if you want that, just ask me, let me know down in the comments. I'll do a tutorial on that since it's usually considered one of the hardest parts of drawing. So now for the hands, just follow this curvature, do like the triangle right here, just do this a bit straight right here on the edge, and you've got these weird looking shapes. You're thinking, what's this man doing? What's he doing with these shapes? What happens if you add just a little bit of a finger shape right there? Oh, it's fun. What if you continue doing things like this? Just add a bunch of like sausages. A bunch of sausages right here. That looks kind of weird, but just like this, something. Maybe make this one go in a bit. So something like this. It's a hand. You can also simplify it, do the sausages technique again. Just connect that. Sausages technique. Just connect that. Sausages technique. Just connect that, and so on and so forth. Can't speak. You will usually get the hang of it. Just drawing sausages and connecting things. Usually that you can draw a perfect body with that. It's completely dumb, but it's a very good tip for new people learning perspective, proportions, and anatomy. So we've got this right now. So now what we need to check is if everything is proportionally correct. So I'm gonna get a bit of a head here. Control V. We've got one head, two heads, three heads, four heads, three heads. Actually, I completely ate the five, but let's go. Five heads, six heads, seven heads, and that will be a half a head, so that's pretty good. So let's Control Z off this. Now, see if the shoulder width's kinda alright. I'll just move this a bit to the left, like that. Yeah, it's kind of alright, so this has good proportions, at least decent ones. The hands, now something I noticed here, you will need to get used to this. If we take a look at the hands, they're going too much down onto the thighs. I said middle of the thighs or upper part of the thighs. So what we can do here is just push this up just a little tiny bit, just like this. Same for the other hand, just like that, and we've got a proportion of my body. Now I'm gonna add some details so that you can get a better looking body. Right here, you can draw these bones you've got right here. So by that, where the shoulder blades are coming in, which is right here, just draw these lines coming in, and then meet them in, curving them inward right here, where there will be this line. This line is the middle of the pecs of your man boobs. Then just do these two lines coming out and curve them a bit, and there you've got a bit of chest. Right here on the neck, maybe middle of chin and middle of the side, which is right here. Line coming onto these, coming from both sides. One should be wider than the other. We've got that. Already looking more professional, let's say. A bit of a belly button right here. Usually middle of these two lines. You've got a good belly button placement. So looking at this, we've got a proportional body. Who would have thought? So of course now with this, you can do various things. You can add clothes, get proper clothes onto him, get a character, draw a face, draw clothes, draw, I don't know, draw various things. And you've got a proper character. Or you can experiment with poses. Now I won't do an in-depth tutorial on poses this video, but I'll do a quick demonstration of what of the shapes can get you on drawing poses. So very quick right here, I'll just draw something. Sausage. This sausage is looking a bit to the side. Usually drawing these lines on the face, you can represent where they're looking pretty well and get a notion of the perspective. So then cylinder right there, with a bit of a triangle coming out. This triangle, which will be the shoulder, is gonna be thinner than this one because it's farther away. Two circles for the joints, go in. Now, for the pose I'm doing, I'm gonna push it back a bit because I'm gonna have it's gonna be going forward with the top of his body, then down, then right here we go forward, then for the leg we go up, kneecap, down, down, kneecap, back, foot right here. I'm just gonna do it something like this. Then the arms, one arm is gonna come here, down, hand, and then one is gonna come here, draw a hand. Now with just these basic like poses, with these basic shapes, I've just drawn a pose. How? Just using perspective. Right here, this is a 3D object. This is a 3D object. By adding perspective and three-dimensionality to these shapes, you can just easily get a pose and something that looks more realistic and more dynamic. Just in a little bit, I draw that pose. Now, of course, I could add more detail, but that's just doing, you just have to do what we did before, which is sausages, sausage connect off this body, don't know, things like that, and you'll get a proper body. So yeah, that's it for a proportions tutorial. So if you have anything you want to ask me, leave it on the comments below, or check me out on Twitter. I'm gonna put it here on the screen. You can either DM me. I also post drawings there sometimes. I'll also have an Insta. I'll leave it down. I'll put it on the screen and leave it on the description below as well, that you also know it. And yeah, that's about it. If you liked the tutorial and if you found it helpful, I'd appreciate with a like because it helps with the YouTube algorithm and getting more people to see the video. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. See ya.